Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Eagle Productions Respect. We're back and we're so excited. Thank you for being patient. I took a break to focus on the law school admissions test. As you all know, I'm going to apply to law school very soon. And I'm grateful to be back to keep this company going, to share truthful news in a way that's being a peacemaker as Jesus Christ and Heavenly Father want us to be. And I'm so excited to talk about Iran. Man, a lot has happened since the last episode, hasn't it? Beginning on February 28th of 2026, the United States launched Operation Epic Fury, where they attacked Iran. Iran is a very evil country. Not the people, not all of them, but certainly their government was evil. Beginning with Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, he took reign around 1980, and he has been the supreme leader since then until around the end of February 2026 when the United States took him out, along with the help of Israel. The United States targeted military infrastructure, the nuclear sites, and for the stated purpose, President Trump has said repeatedly that Iran must not have a nuclear weapon. Looking back at the history of Iran, to understand anything in the Middle East, it really starts with really the fall of the Ottoman Empire. And Iran was part of the Ottoman Empire. And a little background about Iran: if you look at their country, they are ethnically, they are 61% Persian, they're 16% Azerbaijanis, they're 10% Kurds, and 6% Lurs, and Arabs about 2%, and the Balaks and Turkic groups are about 2%. So predominantly Persian, and they are 90% Shia Muslim. They also have the remaining 9% Sunni Muslims, and the remaining 1% being about 300,000 Christians and 300,000 Baha'is. 35,000 Zoroastrianis, and about 20,000 Jews, which is shocking. This is from Al Jazeera, and 10,000 Sabaeans, and their population is about 92 million. They are the second largest country in the Middle East behind Saudi Arabia. They are the 17th largest country in the world in terms of geography and population. They have a GDP of 418 billion, predominantly oil. And how they ship that oil out in the Persian Gulf, north of the Strait of Hormuz, according to CBS News, they have what's called Karg Island. Karg Island is a terminal where where oil passes through. 90% to 92% roughly of oil that comes out of Iran goes through Karg Island. And that's how Iran's gets its money. And also, if you look at Iran as a country, there really isn't a country that, or really a shape that's like it. It's kind of a unique shape. And it sits about, so you have Israel and you have Lebanon, then you have Syria and Iraq, and and Iran's there, and then you also have Afghanistan to the east, as well as Pakistan and India. So it's solidly in the Middle East, and it's right by Turkey. And if you look at the different cities, its largest city is Tehran, the capital, about 9.6 million. That's larger than New York City population. And most of the population's on the western part of the country. The eastern part of the country has two main deserts called Dasht-e Kavin and Dasht-e-Lut. Dasht-e-Lut, according to science.org, is one of the hottest places on Earth. Very, very hot. Therefore, there's not a lot of people on the east side of the country. There are mountains, there's forests, there's coastal places in Iran. So there's a lot of diverse geography, and there's quite a few population centers there. And starting in the east, we have Jabiz, which is about a little less than 2 million people, then Rosh is 750,000 people. Those are towards the northeast from Tehran. Tehran's also located in the northeast. And they have a city of Qom, which is about 1.4 million. That's south. That's kind of closer to Karg Island in a way. And then you have Hoots, 1.3 million people, which is also in the southeast part of the southwest, excuse me, southwest part of the country. And also, I might have said Qom's on the west part of the country. And then we have Ismail and Shiraz, 2.3 million and 1.7 million respectively. Those are kind of more central. Shiraz is a little bit south. In fact, if you go straight south from Shiraz, you're going to you actually get close to the Strait of Hormuz. And Look at Dubai, a really well-known city. It's in the United Arab Emirates. It's not the capital, but it's the largest population, a huge commercial hub. If you go straight north from Dubai, you'll hit the Strait of Hormuz. And to the south of Iran, you have the Persian Gulf, which is where Kharg Island is, and you have the Gulf of Oman. And between those, you have the Strait of Hormuz. And initially, Iran blockaded that, which really affected the global economy. And then the United States subsequently blockaded it. And north of Iran, you have the Caspian Sea. So that's a little background about Iran. Iran's an evil country governmentally with their government. There's a lot of really wonderful people in Iran. In fact, 81%, according to Valuetainment with Patrick Bet David, who I greatly respect, 81% of Iranians, and Patrick Bet David was born and raised partially in Iran, want 81% of the people want the Iran's government to be overthrown with the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. The Ayatollah was the supreme leader of Iran. That is both the leader of the government and the leader of the religion, second only to God. Him being killed is a major blow to the country. And in the 2 months that roughly the war has happened, these 10 things have happened. The and this is according to Ted Cruz's podcast, The Verdict with Ted Cruz, and it's also backed up by various reports from the media such as CNN, CBS News, ABC News, etc. One, every ballistic missile virtually has been taken out. Virtually every factory making ballistic missiles have been taken out. All air defenses are taken out. All drones are taken out. All drone manufacturing places are taken out. The Air Force is taken out. The Navy is taken out. The Ayatollah is dead. All senior military leadership is dead. And the Strait of Hormuz is blockaded, which means there's no oil. And as of 5 days ago, Iran is losing $435 million a day with this blockade going on. And it's been about a week. And so they're losing, man, that's coming up to it's around $5 billion total that they lost. And we're not done yet. The United States was sending Vice President Vance, who I think is doing a really good job, by the way, Vice President Vance and other senior U.S. officials to the capital, Pakistan, to negotiate a peace deal with Iran. As of today, April 25th, 2026, President Trump called off those peace deals, that arrangement. And so right now, we do not have a peace deal. President Trump 5 days ago said, quote, no more Mr. Nice Guy, close quote, and he is threatening to take out every electrical power plant and every bridge, just destroy the man, the infrastructure of the country. It was said, you know, uh, there was consternation and a visceral reaction to President Trump saying that he would, quote, destroy the civilization and the entire civilization, something to that effect, close quote. And people on the right, such as Mr. Carlson and Miss Kelly, and, from Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, and then also virtually everyone on the left, or as far as I know, everyone on the left, and then also some other defectors from President Trump's agenda, such as former Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene and others. They were just, they took umbrage at this and were just upset. And a couple things, I disagree with them. I respect each one of them as human beings. Each one of them, they are intelligent people. I believe deep down, each one of them are good people. They are, and and they can do a lot for the country. And I believe each one of them have really bright futures too. I disagree with them. One, President Trump has a history of really inflated rhetoric. Now, I would like more precise language, but sometimes the belated and the exaggeration can be an asset in negotiating. I understand there's times when it's not. And here, I would have preferred President Trump to be more precise in his language. And there's a lot of other times too. with that said, we've been following him politically for over a decade, and he has a history of doing this. So one is, it's par for the course. No one should be shocked, and it's just that's part of his style. Everyone has weaknesses, and President Trump's is at times he over exaggerates. I will say this: President Trump did the right thing taking out Ayatollah and attacking Iran. I support President Trump 100%. He is the bravest president, certainly of my lifetime. He's one of the bravest presidents in the history of our country. If you look at what he's gone through, he's a multi-billionaire. He doesn't have to be doing any of this. He can be enjoying time on a yacht, on a golf course, doing more business things. He's serving our country. He's, I believe, working for free. I know he was the first term and probably the second term. And he's certainly not doing it for money. In fact, he'd probably make more money not being president of the United States. And look at everything he's gone through, from the false trials to being attempted assassination multiple times. All the just the I you could argue it's verbal emotional abuse what people are doing to President Trump on a daily basis. And yes, I also condemn when he crosses the line with different attacks. Like for example, when he said the former Secretary of Defense and really revered and respected General Mattis was ignominiously fired. Totally wrong. You should have just been quiet on that. By the way, President Trump has been right about the Iran deal. That frees billions of dollars of sanctions to Iran, which what has Iran done with that? Let's look at what Iran has done with that money, partly from the frozen assets of the Iran nuclear deal, which has been a total joke, by the way. That Iran deal was a disaster, and President Trump's been right about that the whole time, and former Secretary Mattis was wrong. That was a terrible deal. Why? It unfroze, it thawed billions of dollars of assets towards Iran. Iran, according to the United States government, is the number one state sponsor of terrorism. Why should we give them a penny, let alone billions of dollars of assets unfrozen? Here's a, here's according to U.S. State Department designations. Here are Iran's regional proxy networks. I also got this from the Dr. Phil podcast and a lot of information from the Dr. Phil podcast, which is a great podcast. Iran, state sponsor, strategic coordination, Hezbollah, the Lebanon armed political group, Hezbollah, Hamas, which did the horrific October 7th attack against Israel, which should be condemned. Anyone supporting Hamas is crazy, ignorant, or just downright evil, or a good person acting evil in a twisted current state of mind. Hamas is evil. They're terrible. We should destroy them. And they murdered and raped and assaulted and terrible things. It's absolutely absurd and appalling for anyone to support Hamas. Talking about freeing the children of Palestine is ridiculous. Hamas raped and murdered innocent civilians. And Israel's been trying to protect their country. And if you look at the facts, and this is also from the verdict with Ted Cruz and other news sources like Fox News, Israel gives warnings. They control the satellites because Iran just has no. The air defense, the air force of Iran is pitiful compared to Israel and certainly compared to the United States. So Iran controls the satellites, and they would send out messages to. Here's the thing: Hamas would have their headquarters in elementary schools and hospitals, particularly children's hospitals, to try and avert attacks because they're cowards. And then Israel knows this, so they'll send a message out saying, "We're going to bomb this center, this hospital or the school or whatever. At 2 o'clock this afternoon, we give you 6 hours to evacuate. Get the blank out of there, and we're going to take out this operational center." Hamas is evil. They do things like that. So you're either ignorant or out of your mind or asinine to support Hamas. One of those three. And yeah, so the Hamas is an Islamic militant group. Iran funds them. Iran also funds the Palestinian Islamist Jihad Gaza, a militant organization. They they arm the Houthis, also known as Ansar Allah in Yemen, an armed movement, very evil. They also arm a lesser known movement called Kataib Hezbollah, affiliate of Hezbollah, and Iraq and also Iran aligned militias where Kataib Hezbollah does things. They also fund Asib al Haraki, Iran Shia militia, and the Bajir organization, Iraq political military faction. They also have the IRGC. I believe there is Iran Republic Guard Center, something like that. Islamic Iran Republican Guard, something like that, Republic Guard or something. That's the elite military branch. They are evil. Here's what some of the things the IRGC done under the direction of the Ayatollah Al Khamenei, who's now dead, thankfully. He was an evil, evil man. Here's some of the things that he said. According to the Memory TV, which is a non-profit organization that takes media from Russia, China, Iran, Arab, Turkish, and they translate it, analyze it, and they publish it. And they've been around since 2004. They report on March 3rd, 2026, that the Ayatollah Khamenei said, quote, when you chant death to America, it is not just a slogan, it is a policy, close quote. You support him? You shouldn't. He's calling on the death of us, Americans, and anyone else watching this who is pro American. And they also, he leads for 40 years. They've been chanting death to America and death to Israel. That is widely known. That is absolute fact. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei referred to as America as a great Satan and Israel as a little Satan. One of the senior government officials and military officials wanted written on his tombstone something to the effect of, here lies a man that sought the death of Israel. These are evil people. These are evil men. More things they do. They arrest protesters. Aforementioned Patrick Bet-David, who has a great podcast and is a great person as far as I know, for 81% of the country of Iranians want this government overthrown. They took out to the streets. Senior Iranian officials reported to the New York Times that Iran murdered around 40,000 protesters. They're holding signs, they're singing songs, and they'll have military people, as Dr. Phil said on his podcast, sitting on top of the roofs and mowing them down, murdering these people. People they didn't murder, particularly women and children and girls, they'll haul them to prison and support it. In a 2013 UK Parliament report confirmed that the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei had ordered the rape of women, particularly virgins. And then Patrick Bet-David expounded on that, saying that Ayatollah Ali Khamenei said he wanted to rape these women, these girls, that way they wouldn't die as virgins and they can get punished in the afterlife, such as going to their form of hell, not go to heaven. This was an evil man. He is rightly dead. The United States did the right thing. President Trump did the right thing. Iran's been funding people that want to kill us. They've been doing it for 40 plus years. And as Victor Davis Hanson, who also has a great podcast, and I agree with him on virtually, I'm not aware of anything I don't agree with. Obviously, we all disagree over something, but I I know for a fact I agree with the overwhelming majority of what Victor Davis Hanson has said and his positions. I agree with a ton of what he says. And Victor Davis Hanson, on a very recent episode of his podcast, said, as it stands now, around April 25th, today's April 25th, 2026, so around the end of April, Iran basically has three options. One, complete surrender. And all they have to do is just give up their nuclear capabilities. That's what Trump wants. It'd be wonderful if there's a regime collapse and a sane, respectful government, ideally a democratic republic, would come up. But that's tough going from a really uh, radical Islamic dictatorship, which is what the Ayatollah Khomeini was, and was to then a thriving Republican democracy, thriving republic. So, and that's only a generation away. Though I'd say the youth, who, by the way, have been saying that they love Trump, the kids have been reported on that. So it's like Iran loves Trump right now. The majority of people love Trump, and Trump's done the right thing. President Trump has done the right thing. So basically, there's three things. One is complete surrender. Give up the nuclear manufacturing capabilities, and not have a violent, vociferous anti-West, particularly anti-United States and anti-Israel government. What I mean by that is you stop having your people leading your people to chant death to America, and stop having leaders that say like death to America is not just a slogan but a policy.
May I have your attention, please?
Sorry.
The time is now 5:30 p.m. The library will close at 5:45 p.m. If you have any items to check out or return, please do so at the help desk now. Thank you.
I'm filming in the BYU library. I love BYU now. I'm a University of Utah guy. I have my red tie on, but BYU has been so good to me that they helped start this business and with the great resources they have. and I'm in the library, and they just got done with their spring semester, and so they changed the hours. As you probably heard over the announcement, they're going to be closing in about 15 minutes, which is good. Give us time to wrap up here. Excuse me. So basically, the current state is there's three options here that Iran can do. So number one, Iran could do a they could just give up their nuclear capabilities. One, complete surrender. Number two, they can stall and delay, just like they've been doing for the last 47 years. And they also could, that's the second option. The, and they're hoping they get Tucker Carlson. I really disagree a lot with him. And it's reported that his podcast is being broadcasted to the people of Iran from the Ayatollah Khamenei, like as like pro Iran, like pro, you know, pro anti West and anti American policy. So like I disagree vehemently with Tucker Carlson. I respect he's overcome alcoholism and he's very personable from some of the interviews I saw. So I do respect him a lot. He's very intelligent and a great debater. I disagree with him completely, unequivocally. I disagree with him with the Middle East and stall and delay and hope that President Trump's party, the Republican Party, loses the midterms and then Democrats enact the War Powers Act, according to Victor Davis Hanson's podcast, and then they stop funding for the war and just die out and they survive. I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is going to be done way before the midterms, in my opinion. Third option is radical. That there's reports that Russia, possibly China, have been supporting Iran with different military equipment and things through the Caspian Sea, because north of Iran is the Caspian Sea, and there you get Russia, and that's an outlet towards China that can get through. Particularly if Russia and China unite on this one, and that's very concerning. And but also, Russia and China do not want to face us, the United States. We are stronger and better than them. And they do not want an all-out war with us. And so they need to go behind the back and try and support and just try and perpetuate this. What's going to happen is a fantastic question. I think President Trump is going to lay down the hammer. He's going to take out all the infrastructure and he's going to force Iran to completely surrender. And a new government's going to take over. And I pray that's a pro freedom, pro freedom, and one that truly loves Heavenly Father. That's what I hope. That's what I predict is that we're going to full out win this war. We already won it. The United States has won, and we are winning. We're dominating this. And I think it's going to really turn out well for the United States for generations to come. Certainly, generations to come, or if the Savior comes again, which he may come any day now. And so, either one. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Eagle Productions Respect on Iran. I want to thank our sponsors. They've been through with us through thick and thin, haven't they? Man, they stood by my back when I needed to take a break with the LSAT. And I love every single one of these companies and the leaders and everyone with these companies. We know them. Number one, Don Chewy's, the greatest Mexican restaurant in the history of the world. I love it. I've had countless meals there. I love Don Chewy's. They're at 520 North, 900 East, Provo, Utah, 84606. Their phone number is 801 375 2587. You can also find them at donchewy's.com. Excuse me. Go for a wonderful meal with you and your family, your friends. Have a great time. Kick off summer really well and get some get a good meal at Don Chewy's. We also want to thank XD Cars. They're located at 1499 North State Street, Provo, Utah, 84606. Also, xdcars.com. Their phone number is 801 919 9290. I bought a car from XD Cars. I have done business with them a lot of things because they have a mechanic shop right next to them. I love these people. They're phenomenal. They're one of the original sponsors of this podcast. Great people. Stefan, the leader of that company, is a really awesome person. They're friends of mine, and they are a really ethical company. Anything car related, go to them. They are amazing. Also, want to thank my friend Michael Gannell. If you or anyone you know has real estate questions or interests or wants to do purchases or business in real estate in the United Kingdom or India, Michael Gannell is your guy. You can contact us. If you want to contact Michael about that, hit up anywhere that you see this video, hit up the platform in the comment section, or you can have my email is eagleproductionsrespectepr@gmail.com. Phone number is 385-985-4883. Contact us as well. Thank you so much for watching. We have every reason to hope and be optimistic, and let's keep fighting for truth in a way that's being a peacemaker.